Choosing a career is a pivotal decision that not only shapes your future, but your personal growth and your happiness.
Yes, it is, Thelma. It is a very critical decision. And it's such a journey that is dynamic and that has so many influences like financial considerations, mentorship, and others.
You couldn't have been more concise. Exactly what we're talking about today. I'm sure already our viewers get a hang of where we are going. We're talking about career choices today on Weekend. Of course, ours has already been shaped. This is where we are now. We're focused on the younger people and perhaps a good number of adults who are talking about career switching. Welcome to Weekend. Today is about career choices. My name is Thelma Obas.
And it is your favorite weekend show, Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. My name is Patience Eloy Abba. Like Thelma said, today it's all about making that critical decision, your career. But something else is happening today in Nigeria. The good people of Ondo State will be electing a new governor today.
The good people indeed.
Yes.
18 candidates.
Decides, yes.
18 political parties, and it's up to the people of Ondo State to make their best choice.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it is Weekend Deal coming to you from the network service of the NTA. This weekend it's all about making career choices, and we'll begin with our backgrounder. Our backgrounder will not only be an expose, but it will kickstart this conversation.
Technology, global trends, changing societal needs, passion, skills, value system have become a strong driver in steering career paths and choice of practice areas for students and scholars, as research in the STEM sector shows.
Software developing and coding is very important, and the knowledge in that area tries to shape the drive for millennials or youngsters that are seeking for high demand jobs in the society. A research work that I actually embarked on of recent, which has to do with the prevalence and the molecular characterization of antibiotic resistant and Escherichia coli, an organism, in human feces. In that particular work, I needed a lot of codings on a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, and SPSS software. I did even that I don't have enough knowledge of what is required for me to code the informations into the system. Definitely, I will be in a very serious dilemma of what to do. Many parents tend to influence their child in one way or the other because of maybe culture and tradition of the family. There are some family members that have a particular profession trending in their family. Almost all the members of the family getting into the profession of law. Based on that, children may be influenced in one way or the other to go or to that line. If you influence a child to toe a particular discipline line that he or she is not interested in, but due to the fact that he or she wanted to satisfy with, at the end of the day, such a scenario may run into a very serious problem because the child may end up reading that particular discipline. For instance, some families that want their children to be a medical doctor, at the end of the day, maybe because of the fact that the child has the intellect, the intellectual stimulation to go into medical profession, he or she may succeed. But you discover that at the end of the day, the passion is not there. The flair to go into the medical profession or handle patients or handle human beings is not there. So it's actually a very negative influence that ends up, ruining the career of that child without actually bringing out the original thinking or the interest that the parents actually wanted the child to be. Robots and different technologies like drones and the surveillance equipments are now deployed for carrying out certain things that are originally being done by humans. Robots go a long way into helping in different industries to carry out some basic tasks that men or people used to do before and end up creating other jobs that are high technology driven that people seek after or tend to adhere to seriously. So based on this, parents tend to go for all those high-tech jobs that will attract a lot of revenue. The last words to parents like me is to look at the child, look at the pathway or the innate qualities such a child has in academics, in physical beings, and know the best advice you need to give the person instead of being a kind of negative influencer to the type of career you want him or her to go to.
It is We Can Deal. Making a career choice is our focus.
We told you earlier that making a career choice is a pivotal decision. It determines who you will become, when and where most of the time. We know in times past, parents were influential. In making this decision nowadays, we have an independent crop of young people who are heady and oftentimes know where they want to go. And we know where we are going right now. We're heading to Lagos, the city of excellence, where we have our first guest and the person of Madam Doris Okechukwu Umbadiwe. She's the CEO of Interbell Foundation for Women and Youths. Madam Doris, good morning and welcome to Weekend Deal. How are you doing today?
It's a privilege to be here.
We're talking about career choices. That's our focus on the show today. For example, we'll be thinking, and the youths also be considering, what ought they to take into consideration when they want to make a career choice?
First of all, I think it's important for every youth or even any person to be able to identify what they're good at, what they have a passion for, and it's different for different people. And not really be influenced by external, I would say, factors. So they should really, look at what their skill sets are. What is it that they do with ease, without difficulty? I would add this because I'm really faith-based. So I would say if anyone is old enough to be able to pray about anything, they should pray about what they were created to do. And that's really important because that's the only way to know for sure, aside from, the physical skills or the tendencies that they have innately or what they see themselves doing. Another way is to know what do you think about? What is the occupation that occupies your mind? What is it that you want to solve in the world? What is it that, that touches your heart, the center of your heart? So those are indications really of how to pick, a career or what or how to know what it is that you're created to do. Another way would be to ask your friends or even ask your family members, those that are close to you. Because believe it or not, they will be able to tell you, what they feel that you're good at or what they see you doing passionately. Right now, we also have assessment tests to know, to actually take, to know, what your skills are, your personality skills are, your personality traits are. All of this, combined would actually help in determining or identifying what career or what job or what role you should be playing in the world.
Haven't been at the top. Do you think there are some careers that are more marketable than others?
So again, it all depends. It's not, for me, it's not really about the marketability. I mean, that's important because you want to have a job or a career that, you know, you can apply or that you can use globally as opposed to just where you are. So yes, I would say that there's some roles or jobs that are more marketable than others, that are more attractive, I would say, to the youths. So right now, I think IT and technology is very attractive, of course, because of the times that we're in. Digital skills, you know, the use of technology, the use of computers. I would say digital marketing, data analytics, all of those sort of, like, I would say, STEM careers. And when I say STEM careers, I mean science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. All of the STEM careers, I believe, would always be marketable because they're, you know, they're applicable to different roles or to different industries. So yes, there are some careers that are a lot more marketable, a lot more transversal, or a lot more globally applicable.
Madam Doris, quite interesting our conversation. We're looking at our young people today, and also even adults, grown-ups, who have already begun a career and are gravitating towards something else. Oftentimes, we see them looking at the digital space. We see them thinking of more money. So if we were to forecast at what do you think our young people are looking at, and how impactful will that be on our GDP as a nation? At the end of the day, these people are the leaders of tomorrow, and they have a great input to make into the country in the years to come.
I think IT, technology careers are the current trend, and they will be going into the future. And that's really important because we're seeing artificial intelligence taking over a lot of roles. So I would think, I believe that that is really a smart way, of course, a smart career path to take for like any youth. But then again, you know, not everybody has, you know, the skill set or the capacity to be able to learn those roles or are good with numbers or algorithms or data and all of that. So I would say that those who can do it, they should. But then again, you know, even going into the future, there are also non-STEM careers that will also be lucrative now, and will also be lucrative. I think what is most important is that, you know, anybody, especially the youth, do what comes naturally, what they're passionate about doing, and what it is they can do with ease and not with difficulty. Because what we're seeing now is that, you know, a lot of people have mental issues, emotional issues. A lot of people are frustrated on the job. A lot of people are very fluid. They're changing jobs and, you know, genuinely dissatisfied. And that's because they feel forced to take on roles or responsibilities that really they're not good at, or they feel that, you know, they're not happy with. So yes, I would encourage the youths to really look inwards to know what they're good at. If it's digital skills, if it's technology, if it's in the medical field, healthcare, that's fine. If you want to play sports or be an athlete, please go ahead. If you want to engage in arts, if you want to be an events planner, if you want to play sports, the most important thing is, you know, that you maximize your skills, you maximize your potential, you engage what it is that comes naturally to you, what you will happily do, even if you weren't paid. Because at the end of the day, you have to be happy doing what you're doing and have job satisfaction, or else even what you're doing suffers. Productivity, of course, is lowered. You have health challenges, your overall well-being is affected. So from my experience, that is the advice that I would give. Regardless of what you choose to do, you know, do something that you know you'll be satisfied with. Do something that you know that you're good at. If you're good, if you're better using your hands, or you want to be in the trade. So I'm in the construction sector. So if you're less of a theory person, if you're less of a reader and more of an action person, I would say, quote unquote, I would say go into careers that allow you to express or work with your hands as opposed to reading books and theories and then all of that, because we're all created to do different things. That would be my advice to you. So even anyone trying to change jobs or dissatisfied with what they're doing currently.
So much, Madam Doris. I mean, that was very, very insightful. That was truly an expose. Thank you for your time. Madam Doris, it was great having her on the show. Now, Thelma said something earlier, the place of parenting or the place of parents in making this critical decision of career. How much influence should parents have, or how much influence do parents have? NTA TVE will tell us more.
It is true saying that the quality of your life is a reflection of choices you have made over time. Choosing a suitable course of study that leads to a future career is one of the most important decisions a person will ever make. Hence, it is necessary to know what you want right from the beginning. Many students develop failure complex because they never knew what they are good at or what they want in life. This is where career guidance and many parents come in.
It's very essential for children to make their own career choices, because there will be this sense of ownership, this sense of, commitment and dedication to that profession, and thereby whenever they come up with, they meet any challenge on the way, because definitely whatever you want to do or achieve or become in life, you will see one obstacle or the other that will come your way. But because it is of personal interest to you, it is what you really want to do, you will not allow those obstacles to stop you.
Parents may have their own bases and preconceived ideas about what constitutes a successful and reputable career. These can lead to them pushing their children into fields that they find appealing without discussing their preferences.
More often than not, their definition of growth, development, and accomplishment borders more on the materialistic conception level. That I want to build a secure future for myself. Having succeeded, this is the way I did it. The same thing should apply to my children.
However, the world is constantly evolving and new career paths are emerging every day. Some parents may have limited knowledge and awareness of these changes, leading them to steer their children towards more traditional professions.
The traditional professions still exist and will continue to exist because we need them. And people still go into the traditional profession, so the doctor, lawyer, engineers, and what have you. But today, we now have other professions that were not in existence in, many decades ago, such as people now go into cybersecurity, data analysis, robotic engineering, web design, website designing, and all what have you. So a lot have really emerged due to the advent of tech, and that has really spiced, career and professions that people go into currently.
Therefore, it is essential for children to have the autonomy and freedom to explore their own career options.
My name is Arafat Bello. I am a graduate who studied fine arts. Before going to the university, I had issues with deciding on which course to study, but my parents wanted me to study medicine because they are medical practitioners. But now, I am a graduate in fine arts and I'm doing very well in my area of interest and my area of making money.
Career has to do with a sense of self and a sense of worth, and a sense of aspirations that draws more from somebody's inner being, inner disposition, a kind of orientation that actually show what somebody actually set out to do in life.
This is not to say parents should not have a role in children's career decision. they can provide valuable support as their child explores options.
And most times when people tell you what they do, there is a fuller sense of fulfillment when they say from their own understanding and perspective that it's a choice I made, not necessarily a choice made by my father or my mother. It gives children, it gives individuals, people generally, a greater sense of worth, a greater sense of fulfillment, and a greater sense of self-actualization.
Though students have the freedom to explore their career paths, it is also pertinent to them to have proper career guidance that will help them make informed career decisions, discover and exploit their potential.
Indeed. You know, I remember when we were growing up, picking a career, it was a family meeting. Mother, father, some aunties, influential aunties, they'll sit down to choose. Now, young people from 10, 11, even younger, they're already telling you where they want to go and what they want to be. Our guests are here to do justice to our topic today. They're going to flourish and nourish and bring dynamism and incentive to it. And we will introduce our first guest, Reverend Dr. Donald King, a career counselor and a mental health coach.
You're welcome to the Weekend Studio, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next guest is a people development and high performance expert. He is Dr. Ayobami Olugbenga Wise. So we can simply call him Dr. Wise.
Welcome to Weekend Deal, Dr. Wise.
Thank you very much. Great to
I
be
know
here.
that
Very
after
excited.
our conversation, it will also impact us and will become higher performance.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I will start talking with Dr. Wise. Dr. Wise, high performance expert. People development. How do you determine who needs development? How do you determine the level of performance and how high someone can go when they are willing?
All right, Thelma, the height or the extent at which you can actually explore in terms of your career or your profession is dependent on you even being in the right place in the first place. So we all have ceilings, generally. We have potential ceilings, we have performance ceilings, but the ceilings usually are breakable nonetheless. However, you must even identify where you should be in the very first place. You find it, you're well planted, you grow it, and then you can begin to break through. I mean, the tree can break through anywhere as long as it's well planted and all, but the shrub can just remain just as stagnant as it should be. Probably can't do beyond that. You can't do or give beyond what you have. Exactly. So your capacity has to be evaluated. You need to know exactly what you're good at. You need to know exactly to what extent you're good, where the gap areas are, and then begin to now think, how can I begin to fill up these gaps? And then you can now build on that.
Okay, that's a good one. You can't give what you do not have. Okay, Dr. King. I mean, I hear people, although it's quite disturbing when I hear people say that Nigerian graduates are not very employable. What is your take on that? Is it what we read or how we go about how we read what we read in school, curriculum and all? Please react to that.
Well, I think that term that Soludo came up when he was CBN governor as per Nigerian graduates, non-employability, Well, I think that thing actually hinges more on what somebody actually studies at the end of the day. Many of our students just go to school, let it be that I am a graduate. Check many of our youth corpers. Is the day they are actually sent out that they begin to look at their certificate. What can I do with this certificate? But that question is a question you should ask when you are in JS3. Because from SS1 you begin to compact your subjects. And it is these subjects that will now, in the Nigerian setting, that will now determine the subject you are going to study. And I always tell youngsters when I'm with them, let the career course, because I don't just call it course of study, the career course that you will study in a tertiary institution, let it be vocational. It shouldn't just be, because, okay, A or B or C is studying that thing, then you also, you know, the bandwagon effect, peer pressure.
Yes.
You now go and study the same thing. It is by the time you come out, like a doc just mentioned, that's when you now begin to now find, is this thing relevant? To which area can I apply my trade? But this question should be asked. Again, we have a problem with our educational system currently. It is not as robust as the world is actually enlarging. Many of today's courses that are both today's and tomorrow's courses are largely not being taught in Nigeria currently. The traditional courses are still there.
Yeah.
And most of the traditional courses have actually gone flexible. Many, it's no longer engineering per se. Even if it's engineering, how relevant is engineering to today's needs and tomorrow's needs?
Indeed.
AI has come.
Indeed.
And people will still have to now do professional courses to meet up with the, impact of technology. So, well, the problem is still there. They study what they study. Those who are teaching them, how vast are they? How current are they? Because again, you can't give what you don't have. When you teach your students and then you graduate them, it is what you have put in them that they are coming out with. So we have a two-pathway issue now. One is the structure of the courses we study that prepares the child for the outer schoolwork. And again, the person who is teaching that course. Is it the person who graduated in 1970? That person is largely not relevant again today. Unless if the person has been doing constant, training and retraining, networking, doing research, at least in partnership with places where technology is speaking. So that at the end of the day, you always have something very current to impact your students with. And when they come out, they can meet anybody from Japan or China or whatever. And at least we may not say you will always, but then you are not completely out of place.
Indeed. Okay, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Dr. Wise, let's take it from there. We do know that, in fact, it almost goes without saying, many of our universities, our trainers, facilitators, professors, doctors are often training and retraining. We don't know how much impact it's making on the young people. We know that many of them are quite restless. In times past, parents had a lot of influence on young people, on their children, on their wards. It went as far as saying, you will study, you medicine, you law, you this. We know that is not the case today. Yeah. Young people already know what they want. Then peer pressure is also there. How independent ought we to allow our young people be when choosing a course? And what is the role of guardians and counselors? They're also there in the schools. Are they not working in tandem with the students?
Well, interesting, Thelma. What I would say for starters is the fact that generally people need guidance, okay? Irrespective, even the professionals still need guidance. So how much more the child who is growing? One thing is clear, people need to know themselves first. When you know who you are, then we can help you validate who you are. It's not in my place to tell you what you should do. It's my place to confirm and help validate what you've been probably sensing. You've probably had some intuitions around. You've seen some signs around that, yes, that is it. You don't impose, career paths on people. You just say to them, okay, ask them questions and all of. So in the place of the child, yes, there's a place to help the child identify their personality traits, who they are. I mean, Socrates and Aristotle were the best to actually say this. It says, man, know thyself. And then it says, in all thy get wisdom. Which is so key. And knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom, as I said. So know yourself, that's the starting point. And then seek the guidance to be able to filter through, because the options keep increasing, like Reverend said. Sadly, Nigeria is even still limited in terms of the options of the capacity to build and develop the people. But the truth is, there are many options, so we need to help people, guide them. Guidance and counseling, some institutions are practicing that. But the question is, how well are they being practiced? You know, the culture back in the days, I know how my parents would say, you know, we're being nurtured. You walk into a school and beyond saying, I'm going to start this course, you want to go see your course advisor, you want to be sure I'm in the right place. A lot of our, teachers, trainers are not even equipped well enough, you know, in terms of areas of counseling, which should be an addition to help that child become who they should be.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Know thyself is very important. Okay, I want to start taking our messages because they're coming in their numbers. Somebody wrote, good morning, Weekend Deal. It was great bringing Madam Doris, who gave an insightful talk. This is Abdurrahman from Daura. Okay, and somebody said, my name is Rahim from Kogi State. Well done, Weekend Deal. What is cybersecurity and what should I do to learn and to do cybersecurity? Who wants to answer this on cybersecurity? Who knows anything about it?
Well, I think because of the upsurge in technology today, and of course also there is a whole lot of hacking. There's a whole lot of intrusion in the normal processes that companies have evolved for themselves. There is also need now to counter that. These were the original mindsets that now gave birth to the issue of cybersecurity. It's all about the airwaves. It's all about the internet. It's all about communication of computer, internet use, and all and all. So when you talk about cybersecurity, you are now talking about how do I safeguard my entity and make sure that what we have envisioned for ourselves is what our technology is doing, that nobody is coming in with what is strenuous and begin to counter, or even is able now to enter into our safe spaces. So when you talk about what do I need to do to study this, it's all about computing. So whatever subjects you need, I'm talking about Nigeria now, you need to study anything related to computing, you will need this. And also added to that is the aspect of humanities, because you are now studying people. How do people think? What are they capable of doing? So a combination of all this will really truly help. But then when you get out of this country, US for instance, you find out that the subjects that we are using here to gain admission are largely not there. Wow. They have a different structure of entering tertiary institution over there. So it depends now on the locality where you are. Then you have to study and know the pathways of getting admission and then follow it as required.
Thank you, Dr. Donald King. Reverend Doctor,
Ronald.
that is.
Ronald.
Yes. Okay, Ronald. Amazing. I've been calling it Donald.
Yes.
Reverend Dr. Ronald King, thank you. That was quite detailed. We're going to Asaba now. For these young people, even for those who are switching careers, it's all about the money. People are leaving what they are passionate about and dovetailing into something that will fetch them large sums. That's the focus, because the cost of living is on the high. Per second, Asaba detailed this through their research, and it's time to see and hear what they found out. NTA Asaba, take it from here.
Gives us 625 over what? 1,000. Choosing a career path is one of life's most significant decisions to make. It is a choice that affects both professional life, personal happiness, and well-being. Though as significant as it seems, a number of persons have lost sight of what truly matters in career choices. In recent years, the pursuit of high-paying careers has become the ultimate goal, as many individuals prioritize salaries over personal interests and abilities. Some crave for high-paying careers for wealth accumulation, luxurious lifestyle, economic stability. Some of these push are as a result of peer pressure.
People are undermining their potentials. People are undermining their natural abilities. They want to go for what will give them more money. There are people who are natural teachers, people who are born teachers, but when they look at what a teacher take home at the end of the month, they want to go for other jobs that will give them more money. So they leave the area of interest, they leave the area where they have abilities and potentials, they leave the area where they have a calling to go for areas that can fetch them more money. Family influence is there and some other influences.
I was pressured to move into broadcasting, since to become an actress, I have some things I need to do to be a star in the industry. My parents, especially my dad, he was like, no, one of his children is going to be an actress or an actor.
Research has it that career satisfaction and success come from aligning one's work with passion, zeal, and strength. Respondents are of the view that ignoring personal interests and abilities can lead to burnout, dissatisfaction, and regrets.
Like I said before now, the person might not be able to attain self-actualization. You might make money, but you lose peace, you lose joy. But the truth is that some of these people who go into medicine, they can't even stand blood. And so they keep dodging. Like I said, it's hustling. They are not working because they are not enjoying what they are doing.
Success is not just about money. It is about purpose, happiness, and making a difference.
Ensure you can defend your certificate any day, anytime. And I want to say this to the parents also. You don't have to push your child. Train your child so that you will be qualified and you will be able to beat your chest and be proud of that child. But if you push them, some even go to the extent of even buying certificates for their children. I don't know what they are turning this life to.
One of the finest advice is making informed career choices that balances passion and profits, considering one's interests, abilities, and values. Remember, success is personal.
Well, my advice to students choosing their choice courses is to consider what the market is looking for. All right? They should not be dogmatic about the type of courses that their parents want them to study. They should rather think of career paths that will suit the current market.
Ways of reflect on one's career goals include: what truly matters to me? What are my strengths and passions? What kind of job environment makes me strive? When answered correctly, it helps make a choice that aligns with your true self, as one's happiness and fulfillment depends on it.
Thank you so much. Okay, now we'll be joining Femi Afariogun at Kiribo Ese Odo, local government area of Ondo State. Femi, what's happening over there? Give us an update.
Thank you guys. Good morning. It's a bright day here at Kiribo in Ese Odo, local government area of Ondo State. People here are ready for the election. Don't let me allow you miss this particular. The people are taking their arm at a riverbank here, and people are already taking their early morning bait to go to their polling unit. A young man is there trying to have his bait to go and cast his ballot. Security personnel, INEC officials, they've boarded canoe here to various locations across the river banks. We have villages like Tebuju, Oluku, that the people there are waiting to cast their ballot. And on our way here, we saw security personnel stationed, military, police, DSS, all stationed ready for this election.
Okay,
thank you very much, Femi. It's good to know what's happening there. Please continue to keep us updated about what's happening. Indeed, Ondo will decide today. Very interesting choices they have on their hands. Well done, Femi, and thank you. Let's continue our discourse from here, the Weekend Deal Studio. It's all about career choices. And some, too, already want to be politicians. You know that. When we're growing up, we're told that being a politician wasn't a career. You need to be something first, either a medical doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, or a broadcaster, for example, before you now delve into politics. But I don't know if that's the case today. But I want to find out, our young people, we know that many schools may not have guardians and counselors. So these children sometimes are working on their own. If they are lucky, their guardians and parents are involved. You have now told us something that, though we know perhaps the way parents do it is not as free, the freestyle you are telling us about. We used to hear, but you have what it takes to become a lawyer now. Why are you talking about music? We know of the Davido, great Davido now, business administration. Began in Nigeria, couldn't complete, went to University Alabama in America, couldn't, was hiding, eventually made a name for himself and went back to graduate. Not many parents will tolerate that. They want, when I say it, how I say it, after I'm the one paying the school fees. Let's location our convo for now in Nigeria. Many children early on have become independent. I want to do this, but the parents may have a wider view because wisdom oftentimes is with the older people. They know that this thing may not be in your best interest. How do we now bring this together and do it in a peaceable way that we still bring out the best in our children?
I love this question, Thelma. First things first, I definitely feel for parents. I understand their fears and they're all valid. There's a place where we want to keep family legacy alive. You know, there's a pressure of trying to go for prestigious careers or where the money is, like we say. So there are many reasons, and all of these reasons are quite valid. However, parents and, of course, the child in question need to understand the current realities and, of course, put that, you know, side by side with what the desires and, of course, what the real deal should be. First off, we need to understand, I'll probably take you through the story, you know, very quickly. For a child or for any individual, there's a personality, there's the identity, and that gives that child confidence everywhere. I mean, there's a way you confidently go about your business because you know you're the deal. So confidence is important. You exude confidence when you know who you are. You need to understand, based on your personality, am I more of an extrovert than an introvert? You know, am I more of someone it's all about, you know, how you gather information from the outside world. There's some of us back in school, whenever the teacher says, okay, we're done, classwork, do this, immediately you find some of those children turning left and right, trying to say, so what are you doing? So what are you doing? You know what? That child is more of an extroverted child because they need to gather energy from the outside back inside. Whereas there's some people immediately they just sit down and they start processing their thoughts. You know, that is more of an introverted child. All right. And then there's a place of how we process information, whether with facts or intuition, you know, how we actually make decisions, whether it's with our hearts or with our heads. You know, there's also the place where...
Oughtn't we to use both? Is it one or the other?
Yeah, well, it's more of one than the other in your personality. It's more of one than the other. There are people that will make decisions based on facts. You see children, for example, when they're having discussions with you and they say things like, and you tell them, you know what, I'm going to get you this tomorrow. And it says tomorrow. The last time you didn't get it, because when you hear things like that, they are fact-based children.
Yes.
They like to work with things that they can see. They are not all about fantasies of tomorrow. Well, we are those with intuition, you know, and sometimes about how you carry out your task. You know, are you more of the organized type or the very spontaneous type? These are the things that determine the kind of career choices that you make. For someone like me, if I have to make a trip for 3 days, I can pack the entire house because I'm not sure what I want to wear. I might change my mind. I'm quite spontaneous. Whereas there's some of us that if we're going 2-3 days, we have picked what we're going to travel light, you know, and that's identity. And then there's a place for knowing exactly your passion, which we can talk about, you know, and it's a lengthy talk. A lot of people talk about passion. Passion can pay bills, and passion is not just passion alone, by interest. You say, I'm interested in this. Passion is bigger than interest. I say passion must pass the 3I test: interest, involvement, and investment. Meaning, I like this is not enough. How involved can you become around these things? You know, you see the child, how involved are they? And then the final part is, how invested are they? A child will say, I don't like this, but can spend hours doing some other things. They are more invested in somewhere else. And these are the things. And then there's the reality, back to Nigeria, to ask yourself, the reality of environment in making. So there is no one career path for any child. There are multiple options that you can play around depending on it, but you need to be able to streamline, and that's where the parents and the child need to come into place and say, what are the current realities? what is our capacity. I wanted to do branding for a long time and I couldn't because I didn't have the money to. I mean, but the video, like you said, could have said, I'm changing this and I'm changing that. Not every parent has the luxury, you know, and all of that. So there are the realities that says to you, it's either this or this, but make sure that you walk around this.
Okay, interesting. It's very, very interesting.
We live and learn.
We live and learn all the time. Okay, so we talked about parental influence on career choices. It's also, there's a place of peer influence and career trends. How much can your peers influence a career choice? NTA Knowledge will now join the conversation.
We normally nurture these children right from primary, in fact right from nursery, always asking them what they want to become and trying to expose them on a different kind of existing careers in life. Those that are opportune to have all sort of media influence around them, they will see different, you know, careers, and they will start, you know, building interest in what they want to become.
Choosing a career path involves choices regarding education, training, parental counsel, vocational guidance, networking, personal interest or skills, and many other factors.
The interest first of all comes from you as a person that wants to study the course. Now, where the social media, the parents, and the peer group influence comes in is when you are not really sure what you want to do. Because if you're really sure what you want to do, nothing can stop you.
I was interested in the field of medicine when I was small, but then my dad got this book for me called Gifted Hands by Ben Carson, and I wanted to be a neurosurgeon after reading that book because I related to him. But then, due to how it is here, I have to go for gynecology because it's more, let me see, realistic.
Does the power of attraction or fascination by peer group, social media, and societal trends influence one's career decisions or choices?
You get ideas from the social media. And if you ask me, the social media is a means of exposure. It's a medium that gives you visibility. You may not be able to afford the AIT, the NTA, but when you come online and you prove yourself worthy through consistency and through effective and exceptional communication of what you want to put out as a purpose, people will come for you because people really want to see what captures their attention. So long as you are solving a problem online, people will definitely come around to learn from you.
You see, there is somebody that we know study medicine, but when he go out, that's outside Nigeria, for one reason I think or the other that took him out, he realized that there are a lot to do in the field of ICT. He completely dumped that medical aspect and jumped into ICT. So there are a lot of reasons that make people change their career completely. Even some people go and study education, but along the line they realize that teachers are suffering in Nigeria. Teachers are not getting what they deserve in Nigeria. That will make them change their career completely. So a lot of reasons influence even adults to change their career completely after even completing their first degree program.
How does networking influence career decisions?
The effect or the role of networking is to help us to really advance in what we want to do in life. That's why I said the positive impact and the negative impact. And I really want to dwell on the positive impact on it. Right? Now, the role here is that the learners or the students should look for what really help them in their choice of studies or career.
LinkedIn is mostly for professionals. We have Twitter. There are so many of them, and all of these social media platforms, if utilized properly, can set you in a very good position for the world to see. You can place you before king. People who specialize in speaking, there are people who specialize, they just dance on social media and they are already making it. Depending on what you want to put out, define your niche. This is what I want to go into. Public speaking, is it writing, is it anything? It could be anything at all.
Decisions are ways of defining ourselves. Your power to choose the direction of your life allows you to reinvent yourself, to change your future and powerfully influence your generation. For the key to every success is to love what you do and do what you love.
Love what you do,
And
do what you love.
love.
Oftentimes, when we go and see a newborn baby in the home with the parents, we'll say, when we're praying, we'll say, may you change your generation. May you change your family lineage. So all these children, they are situated already to change generation. So how do we shepherd them? In your final words, we have an enormous task on our hands, you know. Yes. Okay, your final words.
Okay.
Less than 1
I'll
minute.
use my own child as an example. Super good creatively, my first girl. And then the school thought, like Reverend said, in the GSS3, I'd done an evaluation and I knew she was going to go into either the arts. And they were very crossed with me. They said, no, why are you wasting her? She's too intelligent not to be in the sciences. And I said, she's too creative not to be in the arts.
Oh, goodness.
I like
You know, so, and that's
stood
where.
for and around her.
Yes, and for the first time in the school's history, during the prize giving day, she beat a science student to overall best student. And it takes a lot of convincing. Trust me, you know, there are times I was like, I hope I've done, but I knew exactly what it was. Sometimes it's difficult, but we need to learn exactly how to create a balance.
Okay, we need
Beautiful.
to thank you, Dr.
Thank
Wise.
you
It's
so
been an
much for being here,
amazing
Dr.
time
Wise.
having
Thank you.
learning from you.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
thank
much.
you. Have a
Thank
safe
you.
trip out of the FCT. Yeah.
When somebody does not have a family saying you must join the family business or family career, somebody asks the question, so you take it from there.
Well, I would say the fight will continue for a longer time to come, you know, because if you check it, the parents, they have a reason for this.
Okay.
If you check a parent who has spent his or her life, let's use the medical, I know, gone through the rigors of education, set up a big thriving hospital, and then here are about 3 or 4 children, and then the intent, at least one of them should study a medical related course so that the person will take over. And then time is going and none of them is showing interest in that area. You know, so even the parent, him or herself, will feel disappointment, and secondly too, there will be that suspense. Who should I hand this thing over to going forward? You know, so but I want to say here that communication, conversation, discussion will always still carry the day at the end of the day. Because out of the 3 or 4 children, there could still be one that could study something related. It's still the same versatility we are talking about. Somebody could study psychology and then still end up in the medical line.
Yes.
But someone may not study psychology among the 4 or 5 children.
Well, it depends. Do you know you could study counseling and still end up there? I majored in trauma and crisis response.
Okay.
Okay, and that is still, you know, School of Behavioral Studies,
yes.
though overseas. When we were living, I was told you could study, you could work with the school system, you could work with the security system in America, you can work with the health system, okay? And then so with all this versatility, it depends. You could actually, okay, this is your area, how does it affect this? So conversation and conversation and conversation.
It
should just be
it should
the
be
end.
ongoing, and there should be mutual understanding.
Can I quickly put in this question?
Yeah.
Is it okay? So I am lost about my career because I'm currently doing what I ought not to be doing due to the fact that I have no guidance. Please, doctor, how can I go about this?
Well, I don't know where this person is. There's always still room for midlife, you know, change. So even if you have studied something, you could still, and then what I discovered counseling while I was already in the 3rd year of my first degree. I studied geography and regional planning. And I picked that course simply because I was good in geography. I studied geography to make a grade. I wake up to write geography exam, just to pass. So
Okay.
it depends on where. When you discover yourself, then make the change at that
We
point.
want to thank you, Dr. Ronald, Reverend Dr. Ronald King. It's been quite engaging.
Thank
you
you.
know, mediation, conversation, know thyself. Wisdom is profitable to direct. Talked about interest, involvement, and investment. The 3 I's always encompass that. We are wrapping up our show today, patience, and it's time to end.